Hello and welcome to the tutorial on filters. Okay, we have three filter types that we're going to be working with. Filter is this little menu button up here. Filters are things that will change, kind of like effects that will change images, or you can render certain things such as clouds or pond ripples, or just make a distortion in an image. Okay, to make it a little maybe more creative. Right now, um, you should know about all these tools, about the panels, about everything that you need to do this. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start with a blank canvas. So if you go to File, New, and create a canvas about this size, or maybe smaller, it doesn't matter what size. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to do clouds, how we're going to make a background. Maybe you're making a new image, and we're going to put clouds in the background. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to select a blue color. So I already have a blue color selected. Maybe I just want to change this to color to white, or maybe you just want a light blue. Okay, and then we're going to go up to Filter, Render, and then Clouds. Okay, and that's how easy that is. Okay, super easy. You can make clouds whatever color you want. So let's say we want about black. Maybe we want a storm cloud. Okay, so we can go to Render, Clouds. Now we have like a blackish cloud. Okay, and then you have different just types of rendering things here. You can have lightning effects, okay, and stuff like that. But we won't go into too much about that because we don't have a lot of time here. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and cancel all that out. But that's how you have different effects there that you can deal with rendering. You can do lens flare, you can do fibers or difference clouds. Okay, and we won't mess with that. But clouds is probably the main thing that you're going to need. If you do need anything with a background like that, but I like the blue clouds better, so I'm going to go ahead and go back to the blue clouds. And you can do whatever, I think that looks pretty realistic, if you want to do the clouds. And yes, the clouds are a little evenly spread, but it looks fine to me. Okay, so that's how you render clouds. The second thing we're going to do is go ahead and go to my next clear slate. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and learn how to make pond ripples. Okay, so if you maybe want a lake or something, or maybe you just want a background for an image like the clouds, you can render ripples, but in a little bit more difficult manner. Okay, so what we're going to do is we have a darker blue selected for our color picker foreground color. Okay, so then we want to go to our background color in our color picker dialog box and choose a lighter blue, not a darker, but a lighter. Okay, so I like this color, so I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And we want a lighter blue and a darker blue on a lighter blue. Okay, then we want to select our gradient tool. So it may be under your paint bucket tool as you learned earlier. So gradient tool, and then we're going to go up here and make sure that this option is selected. Okay, so your vertical gradient, and then what you're going to do is click on this on the gradient fill dialog box thing here. Okay, the gradient editor, and you're going to go ahead and drag. If you click and drag this little box here, you won't have what I had at the beginning there. I had this box right here. You won't have that. But if you go ahead and just click and drag, okay, you can click and drag as many as you want here, and then you can change the color of that box. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, click here, double click there, choose a lighter blue because I don't think that's quite light enough. So I'm going to have a real light blue down there, then I'm going to have a darker blue in the middle here. Okay, so it's a light blue, dark blue, and then a lighter blue over here. Okay, so then I'm going to hit OK, and now we have crosshairs to draw our gradient. So I'm going to go ahead and just draw a diagonal line from the bottom corner to the top corner. Now we have light over here, a dark center, and a light on this side. Okay, so that's kind of how we want it. And you can make a black pond or a blue pond. I think blue is more realistic, so that's why we're going to do blue. Then you go to Filter menu, to the Distort option, and then we're going to go ahead and just do a twirl. Okay, if we go ahead and do twirl, we're going to, yours might be on a 4, but it'd probably be set at 0 or maybe a little more. So what we're going to do is drag the angle all the way up to 999, which is the max amount. Okay, and click OK. Now we have this little distortion in here. It's a twirl, so it doesn't quite look like pond ripples yet, we're going to do one more distortion to see if we can make that look like pond ripples. So go ahead and go back up to filter. We're going to go to distort zigzag. Okay, distort zigzag. What you're going to do is now you have an amount and ridges. Okay, and this is already default on pond ripples, your style. Okay, so we're going to go to angle, and you can maybe mess with your angle a little bit as you notice in the preview screen. Your angle changes as you go, the angle of the ripples, how deep it is or how light it is, and then you can change how many ridges you actually want. So I think this is more realistic, the deeper the ridges. So I'm going to go about right there, 107. Okay, and I'm going to hit OK. So now we have created pond ripples. Okay, it may not look super realistic, but it does look pretty realistic for maybe a background, or maybe just a small, maybe you have a bird bath or something that you want to put ripples in, and that's kind of how you create ripples, a ripple effect in Photoshop. Okay, and that is it for that. The next thing we want to do, I want to show you, is other distortions that you may not use all the time, but it may be helpful for some things. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this and bring up my picture of this young lady right here. She does look kind of creepy, maybe you might be thinking, but we're going to change her a little bit to make her look a little bit more creepy. Okay, so we're going to talk about a few distortions here that we don't normally use, but you may use. Okay, so if you just go ahead and go up to filter again, or if you have an image like this, go to filter, and what we're going to do is distort, and I'm going to show you the pinch distortion. Okay, right now I have it set as a 100. Okay, and this is how it's kind of going to look. Okay, and I can move this to wherever I want. Okay, so I'm going to pinch. How about right there? I mean, that looks kind of funny. I think I like that a lot better. I'm going to make her neck really thin and nasty looking, so her head's giant. How about that? I mean, that looks really cool. So what we're going to do then to make this a little bit more creepy, we're going to go back up to filter, distort, and then we're going to do what I want to call, I believe it is called spherize. Okay, if we go to spherize, we're going to bug her eyeballs out. Okay, I don't know if you just heard me what I said. We're going to bug her eyeballs out. So we're going to make her eyeballs kind of jump out of her face. Just a little bit. Okay, like that. Maybe that didn't work too great, but we're gonna go ahead to go to filter, distort again, see if we can maybe fix that, because that didn't work the greatest. Maybe we can change. No, this is set on normal. We don't want it horizontal, we just want normal. I want to see if I can bug her eyeballs out a little bit. There we go. Now that's kind of changed a little bit. I mean, that does look kind of grody, you know what I'm saying? She looks like she's kind of staring at the camera a little too hard. But you notice we do have lines here, so it's not the greatest deal, so I'm going to go ahead and Control Z that, and that will get rid of it for us. But she does look kind of bug-eyed right there. I kind of like that. You can tell it did work the first time, just that not very well, because there are the lines up here, circles. So that's kind of how you distort pictures. Okay, so now she looks pretty weird, I would have to say. So I just showed you some nice distortion features that you can use on pictures to do all kinds of cool things. Okay, meet us for the next tutorial.